Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. This is Nelson. I'm with my special guest host, Beth Stein from Coldwell Banker, as she directs and leads the recovery of our real estate market.
Working on it.
You're doing a great job,
One agent at
sister.
a time.
Look at the headlines that are flashing across the papers every day in terms of this economic recovery and this real estate recovery. And it's as we sat here and spent some time with listening to Ed Stapleton's story,
right.
Decorated World War II B-17 pilot that was a prisoner of war in Germany, and Satsi, who has started the organization of Changing a Generation, where she's going back to her home country in Bulgaria and making a difference in educating the next generation so that they can put a stop, that they have the empowerment, the self-confidence, the economic undergirding to stop human trafficking, whether that's to sex or to the labor slavery. There's all sorts of ways that humans are trafficked, but just incredible perspective when you think about
education, training, changing the way people think. Changing how people think.
Exactly. And so with that, we have our economic problems here, and it sounds almost insignificant or trivial.
Kind of pales in
we
comparison
have our legal
ways,
expert,
but
Kelly
always.
Johnson, from the law offices of Kelly S. Johnson, and he's talking about bankruptcy.
Right.
And so many go into bankruptcy with that deer in headlights of my life is over.
Right. And I was talking earlier to Kelly because, there are a lot of people who hit the financial roadblock and they feel like their life, like everything's over, and there's a very high suicide rate amongst people who are having serious financial difficulties, and it everybody sees it in a different way and they see their life in a different way, but it's not over and there's a way to get through it. So an optimist believes they'll be able to rebound. So Kelly, how do you know if it's time to file a bankruptcy?
Well, people are having a variety of financial issues, not only today but over time. And basically, in evaluating where you're at and what your options are and what you need to do, if you're not satisfied with where you're at, you need to make somewhat of a business or a lifestyle decision in terms of do I want to keep doing this way, or do I want to do something different?
Right.
And that's, not just beating your head against the wall. I mean, I think that if you ask the question, Ed Stapleton, First Lieutenant Ed Stapleton, prisoner of war, or you're going to be forced into bankruptcy, what are you going to do? In that kind of backdrop, I think that bankruptcy, although it is severe, I've gone through a bankruptcy, so I know this first person of what it's like, and it was a traumatizing moment, certainly with the financial duress. But it was a moment where I was thinking, all right, now I'm wearing the scarlet A. I'm wearing the letter. I'm one of them. And it's not that way, is it, Kelly?
Not at all. Not at all. The people that are filing, typically there's some type of triggering event that causes it. People don't go in saying, I want to file bankruptcy. There's usually a need to do it. And that's typically when I recommend to people to file. If they need to do something as a result of a divorce, losing a job, a lot of time medical expenses are involved. So it's a situation typically that you don't want to happen, but you are, having to make a decision. Am I satisfied where I'm at, or do I want to do something different? That's typically what happens.
So how do you create that perspective? I mean, they're in the financial firefight. They're not thinking clearly. They're not seeing. They're essentially ducking underneath the barbed wire as live rounds are going off overhead. How do you draw that perspective for them?
Well, just like Ed, it's survival mode. It's where you're at, what's your situation, what's important in your life, financially, personally, etc., and the need once again to protect what's important. It's a survival instinct on a financial level.
It's interesting. You've twice said this. It's on the personal thing or a marriage or divorce. It's the biggest cause of breakups in relationships and marriages is financial, and it's a money thing. So how do you play marriage counselor to the majority of your clients?
Well, I'll tell you what. A lot of times you're holding hands. You're trying to walk people through a difficult time in their life, through a process that can potentially put them in a better position, and keeping in mind that the whole purpose, for example, of Chapter 7 is to get a fresh start. So you're trying to show them that where they are, they're not up against insurmountable odds. There are other options. There's things that they can do to put themselves in a better position and hopefully overcome those financial issues, try to keep their family together, and once again, focus on what's important. What are you trying to protect?
You know, Beth, and that's so insightful, too, because you had mentioned this when we're on break, and that is that it's just a moment. And as you're in the moment, it seems like a lifetime. But once that season is past, it's just a blip on the radar. And this is the thing that I think that people lose perspective on. And I know this from the mortgage standpoint. I'm providing financing for people that had gone through bankruptcy and loss of home and foreclosure, but they're re-entering the credit market. Yeah, there's a period of time that they have to reestablish themselves, but people are re-entering, coming out of this recession and buying homes again and getting financing again.
You know, it's a moment in time. Something happens, and then you just stop and move forward. You change your perspective. You change the way you're thinking. You do something different, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Absolutely. It's a change, because whatever you were doing before wasn't working. So you need to do something different. And once again, consider your options. And bankruptcy may or may not be your best option, but depending upon your financial situation, it definitely could put you in a better position and lead towards that fresh start.
We're with Kelly Johnson from the law offices of Kelly S. Johnson, the bankruptcy expert for Nelson Radio. You can reach Kelly, Beth, or myself by calling 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or clicking through to Kelly through our website at nelsonradio.com. Kelly, you look at bankruptcy from two different vantage points, one going in and the other is exiting and re-injected into the marketplace. You do a lot of coaching of people, giving them that direction coming out of bankruptcy, don't you?
Absolutely. It's somewhat of an attitude type situation whereby you don't want people to be down. You don't want them to be depressed. In the old days, like you mentioned, it was kind of very derogatory to file bankruptcy. But nowadays, because of all the financial issues, the real estate market, et cetera, it's not uncommon for somebody to file bankruptcy. And by way of example, Nelson and Beth, I've had clients who have filed bankruptcy, Chapter 7, had nothing, and have gone on to partner and open large restaurant and bar chains that are now multi-state. Another client started, who was in the same industry, filed bankruptcy, came back, started his own company, and now has one of the largest sports-oriented companies that are providing a product to both youth baseball and high school. So it's good to see somebody come back and make something good happen.
There is life after bankruptcy.
Great insight. And as you drive around and you hear this kind of coaching, the theme that I hear following this focused look on perspective is acting on it. Yeah. Finding out counsel, reaching out to somebody like Kelly Johnson and saying, all right, yeah, let's assess your situation. Let's look at the entry in and the exit out of, so that you do have the whole picture of what this particular season is going to look like. Kelly, great advice. Thanks for being with us. That's Kelly Johnson from the law offices of Kelly S. Johnson. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or on our website, nelsonradio.com. We're moving up to the Stump. Stump the experts. Hang in there with us.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees, and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.